our monthly theme for Centers for Spiritual Living this month is Serve the World. So, in fact, if we want our life to be but a dream, then we really do need to make sure we are contributing to the world so that everyone's life is but a dream. That would make sense to me. And my talk title, and again, this is set by the center. I chose to keep it that way, and it's so long, I had to write it down. We see our communities as being meaningfully involved with service to the world. And I sat with that and I thought, okay, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? You know, when I'm in prayer and I'm in meditation, and probably if I'd played that song, Life is But a Dream, that would have prompted me to a totally different talk than the one I have today. But what came to me while I was in prayer, it is 9/11, 2016. I almost said 2001, but we'd be going back a bit. And no, I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about stuff. I'm talking about the remembrance of what occurred on 9/11 in 2001. And the only reason I want to touch base on that is because it shows how we serve our communities and we serve the world. And I sat with that, and I started thinking about where was I when I got that news? And some of you can immediately go right to that place, and others of you it affected you in no way at all. It was just another morning with another news report. My whole family comes from New York. I have people that work in that area that are family. So for me, when I got the news, I went right into, oh my gosh, are they okay? But the reason I want to speak about that, besides the fact that it's an honorable time to reflect on what's gone on between then and 15 years to now, is we as people love to come together when there's a crisis. You ever notice that? When there's a calamity, we are all over it. We are there and we are ready to pitch in. And yet, why do we need to have that in order to pitch in and be rowing our boats and having the life is but a dream? Why do we need to wait for there to be devastation in order to reach out to our neighbor and connect with our neighbor, our neighboring communities? We tend to sit in the house and say, that has nothing to do with me. And that's not a right or wrong, it is just an observation. It's just an observation. But as I reflect on the title, Service to the World being our monthly theme, that's huge, isn't it? I mean, as a person, don't you sit and think, how as one person can I be serving the world? So we have to take little bites. As human beings, we have to take little bites of what can I do? What's my piece that I could do that feels viable in serving the world? And I started thinking about what happened in 9/11 that's momentous to me is how much fear it created. It created fear because many of us, unless we served in the military in some capacity, really never were exposed to anything as devastating. We really weren't. That wasn't part of our world. And I was thinking about how fear overwhelmed us. Fear consumed us. We were frightened. We started looking at people that we had seen every day, maybe on our walk to the market, differently. Are you someone bad and scary? Are you? Should I be afraid of you? And I just thought, wow, that is terrible. And we have a tremendous amount of people in this country that all came from somewhere else. Pretty much, unless you're Native American, we all came from somewhere else. We all came here for freedom to build something greater. So fast forward right now to what's going on with the political arena. And no, I am not talking about politics. I'm talking about human behavior. Okay? Human behavior. That's our part. That is part of what we can do to be serving the world, is monitoring our own behavior. When we fear someone because they look a little different than us, rather than look at what do we possibly have in common and how can we connect with one another, not only do we breed more fear, we miss an opportunity to share and experience connectivity. In our teaching, our understanding is that we are all connected. We are all connected to God. Therefore, we are all interconnected to one another. We are all brothers and sisters interconnected to one another. And so what's good and truthful for me is good and truthful for you and for you. And wherever I put my thoughts, if my thoughts are negative and I'm putting it out there on a fear base, then rather than attracting good, rowing my boat in a dreamful way, I'm attracting more and more of what I don't want. Even though I might be praying for something great and good, by my consciousness being fearful and my vibrational energy being fearful, I'm creating more of what I don't want, not even consciously aware of that. So I watch the behavior that's going on right now in the political arena, again, breeding fear. And I want us to be mindful of what we might be doing to contribute to the feeding frenzy of that, because that's what we can do to serve the world, is to cancel out our participation in negative thoughts and fear. We can think about how, when 9/11 occurred, how many people gathered together to be in service to one another. People came from other states to be in service to one another. So how can we be in service to one another now? I know, it's another thing where we look at it as a big bite, or we say to ourselves, what does this have to do with me? It's nothing to do with me. Well, it is if you go down the street and you go into a market and you see someone that doesn't look like you, and rather than being in the same line with them, you wheel your cart to another line. Remember, we're all from another place, except Native Americans. So we all came here for something better and great. And just because someone doesn't look exactly like you, doesn't mean they don't have something amazing to sit and share with you. And so I visit a congregant who is in a long-term nursing facility right now. And I try to make sure that once a week I visit her in physical form, because that's my piece I can do. And I call her a few times a week and we have little chats, because that's, again, something I can do to make the world greater. I'm making my day greater by sharing with her, and she gets to share with me. So there's an exchange, and instead of focusing again on what we have that's not in common, we find lots of things to chat about that are in common. And while I was driving, a song came to me. It was on the radio. I am really in tune to music. Music feeds my soul, and I find it's a way that keeps us connected. So the song was a song called Lean on Me by Bill Withers. And no, I'm not going to sing to you, so don't be gritting your teeth thinking, oh my God. But I want to read the lyrics to you because they're really powerful. 9/11/2001, they were powerful. 9/11/2016, they're powerful. And however many years on and on, they'll be powerful. So let me just pull up my little electronic. Now, I thought about calling Jay and saying, hey, can you put this up? And I was like, no, I'm going to read these words. So if you will be willing to sit quietly and comfortably, and if your eyes feel happy being partly closed, great. And if they don't, that's okay, whatever you're comfortable with. But the thing is I want to embrace the words. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm going to need someone to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If you have faith, you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need someone to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need someone to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm going to need someone I need to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need someone to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need someone to lean on. If there's a road, actually it's if there's a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load. If you just call me when you need a friend. Call me when you need a friend. Just call me. That called to me because how often do we actually reach out when we need something? Or we feel the load is too hard to bear and we need some help. That is how we can serve our community and the world, reminding ourselves we're interconnected. So now, in that interconnectivity, I want to just touch base on something. You know, I don't watch a lot of TV, and part of it is because so much of it is negative, and so much of it right now is all around politics, which is becoming so negative and so out of context for what's to serve the people. So I'm a Facebooker. I have a little issue with social media. I probably need to go to a 12-step program for it. But that's how I sometimes find out things, which I should know about. And so what I found out was weeks ago, and I don't remember how many, because you know when you see stuff over and over again, you lose track of whether it was a week or 5. But it was on the Dakota pipeline. Well, at first I didn't pay attention to it because it doesn't affect me, right? Doesn't affect me, so I don't pay attention to it. And I kept seeing it, and then I'd see these banners that said, water, not oil. And again, it doesn't affect me, so I don't pay attention to it. And that's partly how many of us live our lives. Not bad or right or wrong, it's just an observation. Doesn't affect me. Yet if we're all interconnected, and someone is struggling and might need a hand for you to help them with their load, then our paying attention to a community that needs some support, that's important to me. And if I can only pray, and I say only as if it's a minimal thing, then by gosh, I can do that piece. I can do that piece. And so I started to read some of what I was seeing on that to be understanding and aware of what am I supposed to pray for? I don't know. But what caught my eye was the whole purpose of that information about the Dakota pipeline was big oil companies coming in to native sacred ground, part of it sacred burial ground, to take it to extract oil without any respect to the people that live there still, and keep a simple lifestyle of community in their more traditional ways. Remember, they're the only Native Americans. They are the only first Americans. And many people in the Native culture choose to live in a more simple, traditional manner. So if you want to go in and dig oil that might contaminate their drinking water, their water they feed their animals with, the water that they grow their crops that they eat with, then you're affecting a little bit more in their world than just, oh, we're going to go drill some oil. Now, what also called me, because I kept not paying attention to this because it doesn't affect me, but then I had to read it some more because I had to know, what am I praying for? What was amazing was that culturally, Native Americans gather in peace. They're doing a peaceful demonstration for the rights not to have the land dug up and to find a different way to access the oil and the pipeline with that immediate piece of their land, like maybe 20 miles out. Okay. The oil companies hired guard dogs to protect, which of course then in some cases turned to violence and harmed people. Not that the people that were doing the demonstration were contributing to the violence, but the oil company was contributing to fostering again fear and violence. And so it frustrated me, but what was beautiful was there were over 60 tribes from across the Americas, Canada, the United States, coming down, many of them driving and setting up campground to hold vigil for this, and many coming in canoe, taking days or weeks by canoe to come to hold vigil, hold peaceful demonstration for the right to live in a sacred way, on sacred ground. Well, this touched me because, again, we're not hearing any of this because the news doesn't want us to hear that piece. They want to keep talking about the negativity with politics. And I just said, hey, I'm a human being, and I'm here to share my space and my breath with you and you and you, and we're all connected. So that means the brothers and sisters that are trying to claim safety on their sacred space, I'm part of, and I want to contribute to that. And I know it's feeling a little heavy, and all of a sudden we're away from the row your boat. Life is but a dream. But it's a dream only when we remain aware of how do we connect with each other. The state of New Mexico, and I'm one of those California transplants, the state of New Mexico has a huge, in my observation, I could be completely wrong, and then if so, please educate me later. Huge Native American population. So to say that you live in a community and that doesn't affect anyone at all, as if to say I'm going to stay in my house with my blinds drawn and never answer my door. That's how we make it available to serve our community and serve the world. We don't just turn our eye. And if all we did is just prayed for a peaceful solution for what's going on with the Dakota Nations right now, wouldn't that be helpful? We could do that, and would it take much time? Not really. But what was more important to me about this piece was, besides over 60 tribes coming together, many of these tribes have never even for years spoken to each other because of things that happened a long, long time ago. But they chose to be bigger than that and say, I've got to step up and be part of a solution here. That's what touched my heart about that piece that I kept hearing about. That's what I heard. I also heard that the justice system said, no, we're not going to stop the pipelines. And just yesterday or the day before, President Obama said, no, we're going to stop it just so we can review the information and come up with a solution. But see, if that's something that needed to happen, all of us sending our own consciousness to that through prayer helps how solutions come up. If you can have nations that have not interacted together for years, willing to have sovereignty and come together for something bigger, we can do that as well. I want to read you something that is very powerful because it applies to what's happening right now. If you're comfortable sitting with your eyes at half-mast and closed or wide open, I just want you to be in a receptive place to hear this. This is from Chief Arvo Looking Horse of the Nakota Nations. Ask you to understand the indigenous perspective of what has happened in America, what we call Turtle Island. My words seek to unite the global community through a message from our sacred ceremonies to unite spirituality, each in our own beliefs of how we see Creator. For those of you that are not comfortable with Creator, change it to God, Spirit, Infinite Source, whatever you choose. We have been warned from ancient prophecies of these times we live in today, but have also been given a very important message about a solution to turn these troubled times. To understand the depths of this message, you must recognize the importance of sacred rites and realize the interconnectedness of what is happening today in reflection to the continued massacres that are occurring on all lands. I just picked pieces that I thought would pertain, so. Attacking nations and using more resources to carry out destruction in the name of peace is not the answer. We need to understand how all these decisions affect the global nation. Again, global nation would be the world. We will not be immune to its repercussions. Allowing continued contamination of our food and land is affecting the way we think. Well, if you don't think that affects your world, guess who grows your food? Farmers. So you got to eat, so it affects us when land is tampered with. I ask you to join me in this endeavor. Our vision is for the people of all continents, regardless of their beliefs in the Creator, to come together as one at their sacred site to pray and meditate and commune with one another, thus promoting an energy shift to heal our Mother Earth and achieve a universal consciousness towards obtaining peace. As each day passes, I ask all nations to begin a global effort and remember to give thanks for sacred food that has been gifted by our Mother Earth. So the nutritional energy of medicine can be guided to heal our minds and our spirits. To us, as caretakers of the heart of Mother Earth, falls the responsibility of turning back the powers of destruction. You yourselves are the ones that must decide this. You alone. Only you can make this crucial choice to walk in honor or to dishonor your relatives, aka ancestors. On your decision depends the fate of the entire world. Each of us was put here in this time and place to personally decide the future of humankind. Do you think Creator would create unnecessary people in a time of such terrible danger? Know that you yourself are essential to the world. Yes, you yourselves are essential to the entire world. Understand both the blessing and the burden of that. You yourselves are desperately needed to save the soul of this world. Did you think you were put here for something less than that? In the sacred loop of life, there is no beginning, there is no end. We are all interconnected, and that's why I pulled that piece, because we are talking about serving the world community at a time. And how can we serve community at a time when we're not remembering we're connected to community? Beyond our front yard, beyond our neighborhood, beyond our community, state. So let us remember, each one of us can make contributions. And even if we say it's really small, it doesn't matter. It matters if we all do it together. That way we can get in our boat and we can row it gently, but a dream. Because you get a chance to have a dream or a nightmare. And I'm trusting you'll want to choose dreaming. Dreaming boldly. And I'm looking at each one of you and you're thinking to yourself, this has nothing to do with me. It does. It does, because I know all of you are caring beings. And because you're caring beings with a beating heart, you want to make sure that we're all in this on some level together, making a contribution to serve humanity, one voice at a time. So take a moment, if you will, to go inward. It is our time to pray now. We pray to remember, great Creator, that we are all connected. We are all your beloved children, and that you are here to show us the way. You are here to show us the way in whatever different traditional ways we choose to embrace, to remind ourselves of how, Creator, you are vast. There is no place, great Creator, God, source, universal energy, that you are not showing up. So therefore, I know you are showing up for me and each and every one of my brothers and sisters, to remind us of our walk on this plane, to remind us of the greatness that we have within us, to remind us that we are here to make a contribution, to be purposeful in our lives, to rejoice, to share, to empower, to uplift, to lean on me. And know you are never alone, because we are all here for one another to raise and praise and uplift ourselves, one person at a time. To be reminded that our judgments and fears are not our biggest purpose, not our biggest part, not our biggest being. Our judgments and our fears are just part of race consciousness that we allowed ourselves to get caught up in for a brief moment. But then we're back. We're back to rowing our own boat, being part of the collective boats rowing, and to remember at all times that we're not here to do this dance by ourselves. We are here to ask for love and support and to give love and support. And as we give great thanks for knowing this and understanding it, to our own willingness and ability to understand it, that we create that dream that we are desiring. And that we let go of any piece of that does not feel right and true for our heart and our consciousness, and hold on to that which supports our good and allowing good to be. We know and give great thanks for absolutely everything that is provided for us. We are grateful. We are grateful for everything that is provided for us. And we use it wisely and consciously and kindly. That we be love, that we be patience to one another. And to remember that when we get out of our way and let great Creator, God, infinite source, Spirit, enlighten, inspire, and uplift us, we are always able. We are always able. So we let go, knowing that the law always says yes to us. And as we release it out into the ethers of the law, we know that the answers are always yes, if we are willing to hear the answers. Knowing it's good and very good, we let it be. If any of this resonates with you at all, please anchor it with me by saying, "And so it is." Thank you.